My name is Dr. John Michael Zinn. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about who am I and why should you listen to me? There's a lot of people on YouTube and on different channels right now that are talking about things they don't know anything about. So I wanted to give you a little bit about my background so you understand where I'm coming from as far as the whole idea of psychological wellness and what that is. So let's start with beginning. First of all, I have several different degrees. My first degrees were in science. I've kind of had a Forrest Gump life. And I had the opportunity and the great pleasure to work on the NASA projects for about 7 years before I get into psychology. And so what is positive psychology and what do I do that's different from other people that are out there? So we have to take a look at psychology first. Basically, the whole concept of psychology as we see it in the school system is the study of illness. It's what's wrong with you. So they have a book, and again, we're kind of tethered to the insurance companies, which I'm not real happy with, but it is what it is. And so what they do is they make you diagnose someone with this big book. It's called the DSM-5. It's about this thick, and there's a bunch of symptoms in there, and you look it up and you come up with a diagnosis code. Well, there's several problems with this. One of the big problems is if the only tool you have is a hammer, everything starts looking like a nail. And that's an old adage, but it really applies here. So when people get a diagnosis, they get into the victim consciousness. And the victim consciousness changes your whole outlook on life. Say you come up with a diagnosis, well, I'm bipolar, or I'm depressed. That's a big one, right? And that's the one the insurance companies love to pay. So the problem with that is that there's a big connection here. First of all, we diagnose something that's wrong with you, and then you have a label, and then you're in the victim consciousness. And the second thing is they assumed that if you were not sick, you were well. In my perception, that doesn't work. So it's simply saying if you don't have cancer, you're well. So that would be an example. So what we're looking at here is how did we get into something new? So I had a degree and background in science, and then I switched over to wellness. I had, like I said, I have kind of a Forrest Gump life, and after I worked on the NASA project, I tried out for the Olympics in rowing, and I was, by dumb luck, happened to make the Olympic trials, and then I competed for a year. And I came back, and I realized that I was not happy. And so in the meantime, I had been studying some of Abraham Maslow's work and getting a degree in psychology because it was easy for me. And so Abraham Maslow wrote a book called The Psychology of Being. And he talks about people transforming their lives from different stages of getting needs met. He called it the hierarchy of needs. So I started looking at the whole concept of wellness. Just because you're not sick doesn't mean you're well or happy. So the way that I approached it is I decided to have happy people parties, where I just invited all the happy people I ever met and brought them together at a party, and they brought their happy friends. And I started learning about wellness. And so that was the emphasis. That's how I got started in this. So it's a little bit of a crazy beginning, but now there's a whole field of the psychology of wellness, and it's called positive psychology. And so this is a little bit about where we started, why we did what we did, and what the results were. So I wanted to start by saying, who am I, why do you want to listen to me? And because I have a little bit of difference in my education, most people in psychology only have a degree in philosophy. They don't have a background in science, but I have both. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Please click the like and subscribe button and come back and see more of these exciting videos. Blessings.